Good evening, Evelyn.
Good evening. Okay. This is Evelyn. I'm going to moderate in this meeting. This is group 2, which is going to present our coursework task. We were given topic number 4, the report of auditors, the form and content of the auditor's report, the qualified auditor's report, the hidden meanings behind the auditor's reports, and the report as an educational document. Those are the topics we are going to discuss tonight. And in this meeting, I'm requesting, this is a presentation. It is not a teaching. We don't we are requesting both internal parts and external, those who have joined us, not to ask questions, not to interrupt in the process of the presentation. Let us at least first finish, and then each one can have a question. Those who feel like asking questions can. But I don't expect us, people who are within the group, to ask questions because this is our work. Hope that one is good. And please, we beg you people to give us audience, not to make noise or any disturbance. To introduce a bit on this is social audit. What do we mean by social audit? Social audit is a way of measuring, understanding, reporting, and ultimately improving on an organization, social and ethical performance. So a social audit helps to narrow gaps between vision or goal and reality, between efficiency and effectiveness. It is a technique to understand, measure, verify, or report, and to improve the social performance of an organization. So social auditing creates an impact upon governance. It values the voice of stakeholders, including marginalized poor groups whose voices are rarely heard. So social auditing is taken up for the purpose of enhancing local governance, particularly for strengthening accountability and transparency in the local bodies. Basically, social audit is a formal review of a company's endeavors, procedures, and code of conduct regarding social responsibility and the company's impact on society. A social audit is an assessment of how well a company is achieving its goals or benchmarks for social responsibility. So basically, that is what social audit means, and let us proceed with the first discussant, who is going to present the audit report. Please take on the floor.
Who is that one?
Hello, Theo, are you there?
Theo, the screen is showing. Kindly present the form and content.
Okay. Now we are going to the format and content of auditor's report, right?
Yes.
The audit report, not ETC.
I'm available.
All right.
May I?
Isn't it
Yes,
number 2?
you can
The form and content of auditor's report.
Yes, you can take on the report. See your auditor's report.
Okay. Should I start?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Who is
thank you
going?
very
Am I
much.
the one going to?
Jesus. Guy, wait for the chance, please. Let Theo
Okay.
start.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Evelyn, for this really elaborative definition of social audit. And thank you very much also for organizing this session. The auditor's report, they differ from one to the other one, depending on the types of report, depending on the type of report, rather of audit. As you recall, there are like two types of auditors. Like there is external auditor and internal auditor. So that external auditor is an independent auditor, whereas who can come from outside of the organization. Whereas internal auditor is part of that organization, but is very independent to the procedures internally. Mostly, an internal auditor is reports to governance and also directly to the director of any institution. So the auditor report, according to international standards for auditing and other auditors, auditor's report is defined as a written report which encompasses which can be electronic, of course, or even it can be hard copy, depending on someone who has requested for it. And it can be written by external or internal auditor. So this the auditor's report is also a source of communication between the auditors and the users of financial or social statements. Here, this auditor report is like a summary of findings after an auditor has already conducted the processes of auditing. It can be either auditing financial, it can be auditing social, it can be auditing administrative things or policies. So they have, it is like a hard copy or like to show the outcomes of that, of the findings. So so there are generally there are four categories of auditors report in general. Each report, I'm saying here, financial either audit, either another audit in another form. It has four major categories. One is standard and qualified report. This is like a complete report where an auditor has already identified, like he or she didn't identify any anomalies in auditing processes. It means he or she has already received all the documents required. So there is the second category is unqualified with explanatory paragraph or modified wordings. This category of auditor's report is a complete audit took place with satisfactory results and financial statements that are fairly presented. But the auditors believes that there is important or required to provide additional information. There will be a time, for instance, if an auditor comes to audit, let me give an example of, for instance, how the hospitals are delivering like there is sometimes he or she can request for instance, a registration book and they don't find it. So there, he or she can find that this one is an anomaly and it would be good if I can get that registration book. And he puts in as as a recommendation. There is also qualified audit report. This qualified the auditor's report, auditors concludes that overall financial statements are fairly presented, but the scope of audit hasn't been materially restricted, or applicable accounting standards were not followed in the preparing of financial or statements. If I'm saying here financial, it can be also social statements. So here, take an example. If an auditor comes, for instance, to audit, I'm going to give here, allow me to give here an example of a bank. Though it is just social audit, but for me, allow me to give another example which can help us to understand this one. And he comes, and for instance, the manager of the bank will not allow him to access, for instance, some of the accounts. It means there will be restricted information which they will say, no, don't access this information. So the auditor will produce what we call qualified report, because he or she hasn't really accessed all the information regarding the scope. If, for instance, it was auditing an example of how, for instance, the government is enabling upgrade from one stage to the other one. And when, for instance, they go to the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Finance will not allow them, for instance, to access the report from the district. So this one here, an auditor will produce a qualified auditor report. So the last is adverse or disclaimer auditor report. The auditor concludes that the financial statement, or if I'm saying here financial or audit, or other social statements are not fairly presented, adverse, he or she is unable even to form an opinion as to whether the financial statements fairly presented, or he has or she is not even independent. For instance, if we are conducting an audit on how let us give an example on how government supported some of the students to get access to loans, which can allow them to go to study to Nkumba. This is an example. And this is an open platform where government is enabling the senior 6 leavers to get, for instance, tuition fees to go to university. Let me say university, any university. And then when the auditor will come to audit how those students got that opportunity, for instance, there will be a soldier who was supervising this auditor, so that he will be or she will be fearing something to access some of the information. So here there will be an adverse audit report. So basically, those are the four categories of auditor reports, and they differ from one to the other one. The content will differ, of course, depending on one to the other one. So here, for instance, someone who will want to get more knowledge on this, he can or she can refer to international standard for auditing, 700 devised. He or she will get really further clarification on some of the things you haven't put in this slide. Thank you. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Theobald, for that presentation. May we please proceed with another presenter with the forms and content. The form and content of the auditor's report. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay. Yes.
Yes, please go on.
May you please may you will scroll down a bit, Leonard.
Yes, I scroll down.
Hello, members.
Yes, please.
A little bit to see the forms. I want to see the forms before I proceed. Down
The
a bit.
forms are there.
The form and format. They are there, but on top, I want to see on top a little, so that I begin. Scroll down a bit. Okay. Without wasting time, good evening once more, members.
Good evening,
This is Guy Moses. I'm taking over from the form and content of auditor's report. Auditor's report, the content has various levels. Though for the matter of time, I may not complete all of them because there are around 14 of them. I may go briefly. Maybe if I read out like 6 or 10, it will depend on the time. The content of auditor's report has the title. It contains the title. The auditor's report shall be the auditor's report shall have a title that clearly indicates that it is the report of an independent auditor. The auditors, this phone is a bit somehow not clear. It shall have a title that it is a report of an independent auditor. That is the first content of the auditor's report. The second one, it has an address. The auditor's report shall be addressed as appropriate based on the circumstances of the engagement. It also, the first section of the auditor's report shall include the editor's opinion and shall have the heading opinion. It shall have the opinion as a heading. The other part of its content is basis for opinion. Auditor's report shall include a section directly following the opinion section and with the heading basis of opinion. It also has the going concern. The auditor shall report in accordance with ISA, that is international. It also has a key editing matters, key audit matters. Here, the audit matters in the auditor's report. International standard on editing. With their members, network is a bit trying to disturb. Are we together?
Yes,
Yes, we
please
are.
go on.
Hello?
We can hear
Yes,
you.
go on, Guy.
Are you hearing?
Yes, we can
Okay,
hear
Guy,
you.
network is
go on,
network,
please. Go
network
on.
okay. Network interrupts. Another one is like responsibilities for financial statements. Auditor's report shall include a section with the heading responsibilities of management for the financial statements. It also has auditors' responsibilities for the audit of the financial statement, which states that reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but is not a guarantee that an audit conducted is in accordance with international standards on auditing. Its contents also has a description of the auditor's responsibility for the audit of the financial statements. This can be found with the body of auditor's report within an appendix or auditor's report. It also has the name of the engagement partners. Auditor's report has the name of the engagement partners, and these engagement partners shall be included in the auditor's report for audit of complete sets of general purpose. I think, as I said before, there are many. I will request to end here because I'm not even seeing on the screen the other points. I think there are remaining like 4. With this, we'll allow the next discussion to take over from here. Thank you very much.
Okay, Guy, we thank you so much for what you have managed to present to us. But if I may add on, there is also auditor's audit report should also have an addressee, and that is the person or a group of persons to whom the report is addressed. And then there is also a signature. It should have a signature, which is signed by the auditor. The date of the audit report should be indicated well, and of course, the date of signature should also be indicated. Thank you so much, Guy, once again. May we have another discussant? I think on the parts of the qualified auditors reports.
The qualified, okay, thank you. Thank you, Evelyn.
Yes, please. Yes, you're welcome.
I'll be discussing on the qualified auditor's report. And here we're going to look at what is a qualified auditor's report, the content of the qualified auditor's report, the cases that can lead to a qualified report, and the features of this particular report. So we'll start with the definition of a qualified report in social audit. And a qualified report is a kind of report that is issued by an independent auditor about the organizational social performance, policies, and practices. So here, an independent person comes to audit the social performance of the organization in regards to its policies and practices, and in regards to the society. We'll have the content of the auditor's report. The content of the qualified auditor's report will have key issues that will include the issues and concerns that have led to the qualified opinion, because from the qualified opinion, we'll get the qualified report. So in the content, we'll have the key issues. What are the concerns? What are the misstatements that they found when they were doing this report? So this will lead to that kind of content that will be found in that report. Then we'll go to cases of a qualified report. Here we'll have the situations that will lead to an auditor, giving that organization a qualified report. We're together.
Yeah.
So number one is non-compliance with the laws or regulation, with the laws or regulations. For example, if an organization is being audited and it has failed to comply with the applicable laws, yeah, there are laws and regulations that are supposed to be complied in every organization. But if there is no compliance with this organization, the auditor issue a qualified report. Then the other one is inadequate financial reporting. If the organization does not provide enough information in regards to the financial statements in this organization, then the auditor can give an inadequate, the auditor can give a qualified report. Then the other case where a qualified audit report would be issued is material misstatements in the financial statements. The auditor identifies material misstatements in the financial statements, such as errors or emissions. Then that means he will be able to give this kind of report. Then we have a limited scope of the audit. If there is no enough evidence, there is no sufficient evidence to support all the assertions in the social audit report, the auditor may issue a qualified auditor's report. So in this whole qualified auditor's report, it's all about the auditor finding the deficiencies and irregularities in the organization's social performance, policies or practices that do not comply with the social standards. So if the policies and the practices of the organization do not comply with the social standards, that leads to this kind of report. But this kind of report can also include recommendations. This kind of report is run, the auditor can give recommendations for corrective actions to address the issues that are identified. I'll give you an example of NSSF scandal. I think you've all heard of it. It's not a new case, but it happened where they audited NSSF and they found several irregularities. People's money was the money for the society, other people, in this case, the community, was not used for the right purpose. The information was not readily available. There was no transparency in this case. So all that can lead to this kind of report. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome, Lynette. We thank you so much for the presentation and the contribution.
You're welcome.
May we move to our next discussant, presenter, the hidden meanings behind the audit report. Madam Naomi, are you on? Hello.
Thank you, Evelyn.
Yes, you're most welcome. Good evening, Naomi.
By name is Nyamwisha Naomi. I'm going to take you through the hidden meaning of the report. So I'll first give the definition of an auditor's report as a written letter from the auditor containing their opinion of the company's financial statements comply with general accepted accounting principles and are free from material errors. An auditor report is an opinion of the financial statements of the company given by the auditors after conducting the financial audit and the company. The auditor's report is published with the annual report of the company. Auditor's report is read by investors, analysts, company's management, lenders, while analyzing the company's performance and sustaining that the financial reports are as per the generally accepted accounting standards. Then auditing is the systematic examination of the books of accounts and the other documents of the company, which is conducted with the main objectives of knowing whether the company's financial statement shows a true and fair view of the organization or company. Then auditor's report. This is done quarterly, financially, or yearly, but it is mostly done yearly. Then I got an auditor as the professional person who examines financial records, evaluate the evidence obtained. Auditors should be external or internal. By external, I mean the auditors who are hired from outside. And internal auditors are auditors within the organization. We are going to see some reasons why auditors carry out an audit, an audited report. Audited reports helps stakeholders to find out the financial errors and frauds, such as payments of ghost workers. Then another reason why audited report is done in some organizations is it helps in keeping records in order. This is one of the best solutions for keeping records in a systematic way. Then another reason, it ensures account correctness. Auditing conducts a detailed examination of all accounting books of an organization or company. It